right, folks, sorry about that. Just ran into some technical issues because that is the story of technology. So we're going to start all over again. Good evening. I'm Dana Foster, and you're watching Live at 5. It's Wednesday, September 29th. Currently in Cache Creek. It's 15 degrees. We'll have your weather and roads in just a bit. But first, tomorrow is National Day for Truth and Reconciliation. That will mark the first National Day for Truth and Reconciliation. This day honors lost children, survivors in residential schools, their families, and communities. Residential schools locally will be honored tomorrow and recognized by families, and communities are invited to attend this reconciliation. It will be happening in Cache Creek at the community hall. It's being put on by Bonaparte First Nation. It will run from 10 a.m. to 10:30, and it will be followed with a community dance at the Cache Creek Community Hall. There is a limit, and vendors will be set up outside and inside, and poster making, crafts, and door prizes will be won if you do attend. So there you go. Guests are reminded that if you are attending, to make sure that you are wearing orange. And if you have any questions, you can call the Health and Social Department at 250-457-9624. This day is being created to give everyone an opportunity to recognize and acknowledge their residential schools, their families, and our communities. Interior Health is holding a COVID-19 vaccine clinic, and this will be running every Wednesday until November 10th at the Ashcroft Hospital and Health Center. The clinic is open from 9 a.m. to 2:45, and that is happening every Wednesday for children youth aged 12 and older who need their first or second vaccine. If you'd like more information, you can call 1-833-838-2323. And tomorrow is the last day for community input on the proposed changes to trustee electoral areas. The school district number 74, Gold Trail, is seeking public input for two proposed changes. The community of 16 Mile to be changed from Rural Area C in Clinton to Rural Area D in Cache Creek, and that Venables Valley, Highland Valley, and the community of Ashcroft Indian Band be changed to Rural Area E, Linton, to the Ashcroft electoral area. If you'd like to put in your input, you can submit it by tomorrow by emailing District74 at sd74.bc.ca and completing that survey at www.sd74.bc.ca. You can also call 1-855-453-9101. As we discussed earlier, tomorrow is Truth and Reconciliation Day, and we are asking community to wear your orange shirt. Now, this is both for the National Day for Truth and Reconciliation. You might remember it also from Orange Shirt Day that takes place as well. So this is both for on September 30th, so both for Truth and Reconciliation and then it also included Orange Shirt Day. Orange Shirt Day is a Indigenous-led grassroots event or day that honors children who survived Indian residential school, and it remembers those who did not. This day actually relates to Phyllis Webstad, who is from northern Secwepemc in Shuswap. The story is that on her first day of school, she arrived dressed in a new orange shirt, which was taken away from her. It is now that symbol of stripping away of culture, freedom, and self-esteem experienced by Indigenous children. Again, tomorrow, September 30th, Canadians and residents are encouraged to wear orange to raise awareness of the tragic legacy of residential schools and to honor the thousands of survivors. We're going to take a look into our weather now. So taking a look into your weather and also weather in traffic is brought to you by Andrea's Tire World in Kamloops for the best service at the best price and the largest selection in town. Go to Andre's Tire World, located at 341 Victoria Street West. And taking a look into our weather in Linton for tonight. Cloudy, a 60% chance of showers early this evening, a few showers beginning early this evening, and then a 5 to 10 millimeter rainfall. We'll see temperatures steady near 13. For tomorrow, showers with a 20 millimeter rainfall in Linton, and then you'll see a temperature near 16. Tonight in Ashcroft, Cache Creek area, you're going to see a 30% chance of showers, a 70% chance of showers for later on tomorrow morning, and then tomorrow mainly cloudy with a 70% chance of showers, and then a high of 16. Over in Linton tonight, mainly cloudy, a 40% chance of showers, and then a temperature steady near 16. On Thursday, a mix of sun and cloud with a 30% chance of showers and a temperature near a temperature of 16. Over in Clinton tonight, partly cloudy, a 30% chance of showers early this evening, and then with a risk of a thunderstorm. Over the evening, you'll see that wind dying down, and then it will hit to a low of +5, and then for the next day, chances of showers. You'll see a high of 13. There you go. That is your weather and roads. And now we're going to take a look into your roads. So let's see what is going on in our roads right now. Over on Highway 71, there is a shoulder maintenance that's going to happen until October 1st. Shoulder maintenance between Scotty Creek Road and Clinton Cemetery Road. That's 18 kilometers north of Cache Creek and 2 kilometers south of Clinton. That will be running from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. So make sure that you're watching out for that shadow vehicle, and that will be happening until, again, October 1st. On Highway 1 in both directions, construction work between Highway 8 and Cornwall Road. That is 9 kilometers south of Cache Creek to Spence's Bridge, and that will be until Tuesday, November 15th. There is single lane alternating traffic, and you can expect 5-minute delays. Be sure to be watching out for signage and personnel. That is your road conditions. Now, if you want your full road report, you can go to www.drivebc.ca. And if you'd like to report something, you can give us a call or email us at info@sunvalleynews.ca or 236-597-NEWS. Taking a look into community voices. This is our segment where we chat with people and listen to their stories. Indigenous people and religion. It's often a contentious conversation with many left with unanswered questions, confusion, defensiveness, and anger. Today, we speak with an Indigenous man in Saskatchewan who I happened to just catch on television at 100 Huntley Street show. Was listening to his story and wanted to see what more to ask him a question just more on the Indigenous perspective of despite what has happened within religion and Christian communities and Catholic communities, why he continues to be an Indigenous person and a proud Christian follower who's also a preacher. Let's take a look at that interview. Thank you so much for joining us here on Sun Valley News. Wade, welcome to Sun Valley News. Thanks for joining us.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello, everybody.
So I caught your story on 100 Huntley Street. I just started listening and it was like, oh, wow, that's so interesting, especially with all the... especially with what's happening in our world today. I found your story to be compelling, and I wanted to learn a little bit more. So can you share a little bit with your story and who you are?
Okay. My name is Wade Sanderson. I'm actually from Pine House Lake, northern Saskatchewan. It's about 5 hours north from where I'm at right now. I live in Martinsville. I go to a church here, and I minister out of this church. And I was born and raised in Pine House. Uh, about 21 years ago, um, I was everybody is doing this, but everybody was looking for. I was looking for life, uh, and I was trying to figure out what is the purpose. That was the question. What is the purpose and why we are here? That's was always resonated in me, and I kind of looked for things in life to try to belong. So as I was growing up in this Métis settlement, about 1,600 people, beautiful community, by the way. And about 21 years ago, there is a revival that broke out there. My life had changed, but prior to this, in 1999, it's actually in June 3rd, I was coming home from what they would call a cabaret or a smoker. It was a drinking thing, and I was drinking a lot at this time in my life, and right after high school, I started drinking heavy. But prior to that, I was looking for God in my life. But in grade 10, I believe I said to myself, I'm just going to go to school and I'm going to work, and then when I'm done going to school, I'll work, and then whatever happens. And so as I was looking for God at that time, it seemed I felt there was just like dead ends in my life. And then at the end of my graduation year, I started drinking. Then I said, forget God, forget. I was looking for traditional things. I was looking for just trying to find the meaning of life.
Yeah.
And I kind of just said, forget all of that. I started working and partying, and I partied hard. And it started getting worse and worse. Maybe you're listening to me right now. You feel hopeless. You feel that sometimes you want to end things, or you just don't care. That's how I felt. So the story that you're listening to is perfect, because that's where I was at this time. In 99, I was drinking, and I was coming from home in this cabaret about 3 o'clock in the morning, and I shot up with cocaine, and I was drinking for about 2 days at this time, and I was passing out in a vehicle. This community where I was coming from is an hour away from Pine House, where I was born and raised. On my way home, I passed out in this vehicle, and the thing was, I heard a voice speak to me as I was passed out in my language, and my first language is Cree, so I speak fluently in Cree, and I heard this voice say to me, "Putska gotion, smagan sa gagatsningok, simak, putska gotion." And I kept hearing this, over and over. I kept hearing this, and finally there was 4 of us in this vehicle at this time, and the 2 witnesses behind me, they were in a back seat, saw me doing these things, and that's how I kind of put this. In about 5 or 6 years, I put this whole thing together, and they said to me, "Wade, when you were passed out on the passenger side, you kept squirming from one end to the other." I'll kind of describe it as I'm sitting here. I'm sitting like this, passed out, and I kept moving because I kept hearing this voice speak to me in my language, and he kept saying, that means put your seatbelt on. The police are going to get you, over and over. And so finally this is what they said. I shot up out of my chair, and I grabbed the seatbelt, And finally, because it was on a gravel road, it took me a while to put the seatbelt on, and finally I did. And then when I did, they said, once you put the seatbelt on, Wade, you fell back and you never moved again. I fell asleep, and then I went to sleep. And about 20 minutes later, I tell you, the truck flipped right at.
Wow.
Amazing.
Yeah. Do you think it was God? Do you believe it was God? Or do you think it was people? Some people call it intuition or luck. What do you call it?
I believe, because it'll entail the rest of the story I'm about to tell you.
Okay.
There was 4 of us in the vehicle, right? When the rollover happened, my best friend got killed in this accident. So I got knocked out on a rollover. So when I heard this voice speak to me, I didn't think about it for a long time. And so when I came out of the accident, my best friend got killed, and I was trying to figure out life at this time. This was on June 3rd, 1999. Now, I believe that this voice that I heard was the Holy Spirit, because my life changed after this, but it was after a year. Mm-hmm. Now, I got into another accident similar in January 12th of 2000, and this time I was driving. And the thing is, if you're in this state in your life, and sometimes you don't care, you just do things recklessly, and this is where I was in my life. And so I was taking cocaine again, this time, and I was drinking again for 2 or 3 days, and I slammed into a half-ton truck. At this time, I lost everything because of that accident in January 12th. I had to go to court over and over regarding this situation, and I saw myself getting worse and worse and worse and worse. Mm-hmm. And maybe you're in that state right now. You're going worse and worse and worse. And I couldn't stop. See, people said it was because of that accident, the first one, in June 3rd, that accident happened, and I heard that voice. But in January, I still kept, my life didn't change because I heard this voice. I had another accident that happened. Now, in January, I had to go to court for several months. Now, before this, my life change happened in May 18, 2000. But in April, that's the day of my birthday, I was going to court, and then I lost everything. I lost my license, everything. That was my job, everything. So I lost everything. Now, at this time, my life was getting, that's the worst it got, but I still didn't care. Like, when I hit those people on a head-on collision, they could have died. But by the grace of God, I believe they didn't. But I end up losing almost everything that I had in my life. I came to this place May 18th, mm-hmm. and this is where it got really exciting. On May 18, 2000, there was things happening within our community, and there was a gospel rally, they call it. You must have heard it. There's tent meetings and whatnot.
Yeah, I've seen them. Yeah, I've heard of them.
And so I seen my friends one by one start to change, and they were have reckless lives too. But they were like, I got to share this one. This one's really good. I got a band that I used to follow around when I was drinking. They call themselves Who was Playing. So one by one, their life started to change as well at this time. So this isn't May 2000. See, in January, that accident, the following year, 99, was June 3rd. So there was a camp meeting happening in our community, and people were telling me about Jesus. And I said, no way. I used to just discredit it. It's not real. Discredit it more and more. But at this time in May 18th, this week, I kept seeing it, but I just kept denying it. For 2 years, things were happening within our community. Now, this tent meeting, something powerful happened to me. Because I worked in a medical taxi business, and I used to shut this guy, Frank Marasti, off on the radio station, and he used to pray in our language. And I used to say, boy, this guy's annoying. And I used to shut him off on the radio. And the thing was, when I was outside that tent on May 18th, I heard a voice from the outside of this tent before I walked in. That was that same voice I used to shut off the radio and telling people that he was annoying. So when I walked into this tent meeting, I'll tell you, without a word of a lie, I felt this love that I've never felt before in my life. The things that we're all looking for in life. Maybe you're looking at and listening to me right now, and you're trying to find a purpose. If you're looking for love, if you're looking for what is the meaning, this is what I encountered. I walked right in there as a tough guy. But when I walked into this tent meeting, and this guy was sharing his testimony about how his life changed. He was a chief and he used to run ministers out of his reserve. But you know what? His life changed, and he ended up going to those people that he used to run out of town and to come to his reserve, and he gave his heart to Jesus. And I was sitting there, and the thing is, when I walked into that place, I felt this love come over me. This love I've never experienced before, and that's something. And just tears came down my eyes, and I sat there, and you know what, Dana? I was sitting there, and as I was sitting there, I heard this voice as I was sitting there, and tears were streaming down my face. That's that same voice that was in the truck that spoke to me, and he told me how much he loved me.
Yeah.
And I was sitting there, and I said, "Was that you?" I said, "Was that you?" So as Frank was sharing his testimony at the same time, and people were in tears in this meeting. And he was, and I was experiencing that, and the change is about to happen. But did you want to ask me a question before I?
Yeah, that's one thing about crematees. We like to talk.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's why I guess I'm in this business. Do you? So you had that experience. I've heard this before from other Christians about this experience, especially when it comes to, drug and alcohol addiction. Yeah. I've heard sometimes for some people it was this, this huge awakening, and I changed my life, and all of a sudden I'm a Christian, and now I'm doing good, and my life's so wonderful. But then there's other people that, struggle, and that, for myself, I continue to struggle. I continue to go to church. I continue to talk to God. I do all these things that, I was born in the church. I raised in the church. I have all these principles in my life, but there still seems to be that struggle, of what path to take. What was it different? How was it different for you? Were you able to you had this big revival, this big experience, and bam, you're changed? Or was it a journey for you?
Yeah, it was the most amazing experience, Dana. That night, because when I was a student, I played volleyball, basketball, all these things, and I used to go on trips, and I used to remember the full moon. It was always something amazing to me. When I used to go for it, I'll be looking at, and sometimes I would just feel things like when I was looking at it. That day, May 18, 2000, when I came out of that tent, this weight, this thing that had happened, and I was hearing this voice now. Now, Dana, every day we could hear this voice and teaching us. Like that day, when my life changed that night, those 3 days I was weeping at this tent because I could feel God's love and what he's done for me. And so you know what? I went back to the parties, Dana, to the same parties where I came back, where I was passed out, where I was used to do some of the drugs. So I went back to those places and I said, something happened to me. Now people were saying, I think Wade's gone crazy because he's come back to our meeting and he's telling us something about Jesus or something happened to him. And I went back to and it was funny because I went to one party and I asked them, where's the next party? So I went to go and tell them too. And because of what experience and I wanted everybody to experience what I was experiencing. And to tell you this, what happened next was,
All right, there you go, the cliffhanger. Now you get to watch the rest and the full interview on YouTube. We'll have that uploaded for you tomorrow to listen to Way's whole story on YouTube. So also make sure you subscribe to our news channel. That helps us out greatly to get our news channel out there. Thank you so much for watching. You've been watching Sun Valley News. If you have a news story, email me at info@sunvalleynews.ca. And this beautiful set, yes, that's right, it's brought to you by Bubbles Blossom Design at www.bubblesblossomdesign.com. And if you'd like more information on how you can support our news channel or become a sponsor or advertiser, you can email me at info@sunvalleynews.ca. Now, we do have a poll running on our Facebook page. You can go to our community forum, Sun Valley Community Forum, where you can ask or answer that poll. Our question today was, how can local this week, how can local residents show their support for truth and reconciliation? You can go and take a look at some of the people's answers and add your own comments. So there you go. Now, today is our 1 year anniversary. Well, actually, it was yesterday. I completely forgot. But hey, that's what you do when you're completely busy, right? Yeah, it's official. Our channel launched Sun Valley News a year ago. The story, I haven't shared this, but as many know, I've been in broadcasting for 17 years. I've helped launch many online news channels or online community channels. And about, I guess this time last year, I was walking and I just felt like, you know what, there's something missing in our community, and it's rural and Indigenous news coverage, and we have so many great stories to share and tell. And I decided to take that on. I was walking down McLean Street and near Sun Valley Road, and I saw that sign, and it just came to me, Sun Valley News, and that's the story of how Sun Valley News got its name. So thank you so much for all your support. Special thank you to Raven Brooke this summer, who helped out so much with all the news coverage and sharing for all the fires that we had this summer. So thank you so much, Raven. I could never, my heart is full of appreciation and support for you. Thank you so much to one of our contributors, which you'll see more of, Gloria Mertens. Thank you so much for your contribution and your continued support. And then again, to Community Futures, thank you so much for your support as we move into our year. Thank you to everybody else that has been watching us. And here is just a little bit of a highlight reel of this past year. Wow, you guys have kept me busy. I hope you have a wonderful night. Take care.